Before the war, I was grade 10 and I want to be a fashion designer.
I was grade 10 3 years ago. I wanted to get into medical school and become a doctor.
I was grade 10 before the war. I wanted to be a psychiatrist.
I wanted to learn either marketing or business management so that because I wanted to be a businesswoman.
These are the voices of students in Tigray that have had their hopes crushed because of the war. For almost 3 years now, students in Tigray haven't been able to get education as a result of the 2-year-long war that broke out right after the COVID-19 pandemic. While restoration of education was guaranteed in many parts of the world, students in Tigray would see the opposite. The war that broke out in November of 2020 would mean no education for millions in the region. Abrahat Taddasa, Mulatu Walday, Maqdasa Takhalti, and Melat Gabra Mikhail say they lost hope of achieving their dreams as a result of the war.
Well, at first, when school was closed, I believed that it was going to reopen in a few weeks. And I remember I was doing some reading and still keeping my preparation. I was even buying exercise books and pens, a lot of things. But the war broke out, and in time, I remember losing hope.
Like, I had dreams. I had a lot of things to succeed, but I couldn't do one of them because of the situation.
People are dying out of starvation, people are dying out of lack of medications. So for me to be talking about school is a little bit of fantasy, but it shouldn't be, obviously. So I feel sad because I would have been making a progress to make my dream come true.
As basic necessities remain blocked from entering the region and communication blackout has made it difficult to get help, the students said that they are among the many that have been affected by the siege.
The siege actually affects my life totally. I mean, my life is totally different now. It's not as it was. You can just do whatever you want. You can go to your friends. I mean, you feel insecure. We're just eating foods from the aid agencies, so it's not as we wanted.
I believe that it disconnected me with the world and with everybody out of this region. I thought and I believed that I had little probability of surviving this situation. So the biggest thing that it did for me was that it took my hope away.
You know, it's really heartbreaking to see your classmates, your peers, your friends begging out there on the street, starving to death, you know, suffering due to lack of medicines and due to different factors. And it's really, I don't know, it's very hard. And, you know, I feel like as we're having a huge psychological crisis and social crisis now, and you see them, you know, filled with despair, unable to see even a ray of hope, and it's, you know, horrible.
Like back then, you can't choose what to eat, and it's like the basic necessities have become to be a fantasy these days, right? It's like you eat whatever you got. It's not like you could choose. It's not like, you know, you can't have whatever you had back then right now. It's like it's so awful that we had to do this on the 21st century.
The students also said that the war has altered their lives permanently as they remained terrified of the constant shelling as well as drone and aerial attacks in cities and towns of Tigray.
The first time I saw jet, I kept telling myself that it was just going around. It's not gonna kill everybody or anybody else for that matter. But the people died, and I was afraid. And the second time it came, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to protect myself.
You know, whenever the drones come, I just, you know, I don't hide, actually, nowhere to hide, but all I can do is praying to God to save us and to bring us peace.
It was shocking. First, I felt like as if it's a dream, and then, but it's true.
Since I've never experienced such a thing, first it was the noises they made, it was the sound that used to terrify me. But every day to day it started killing a lot of civilians, right? All we see is bloodshed everywhere. So it was horrifying. I didn't feel like we could ever hide from anything.
Finally, the students shared their message to the international community, saying that they wish for their schools to be reopened and get psychological support and education they so deserve.
I do hope that they will facilitate in the restoration of our schools, the buildings that have been destroyed, and any other educational equipment, but mostly the psychological helps that they can give to students, because we've been away from school for so long and experiencing a lot of traumatic experiences, and I do think that we need that. And I mean, personally, I would have been a freshman in college, but now I'm sophomore year, so it's kind of painful to think about it. So I would also hope that they would give us the lessons in an effective way that will make up for the years that we've lost.
I hope, to get back to schooling process, to get back to the normal life. Now, everybody isn't living. I don't know. Sometimes it's a miracle, right? How are we surviving? There is a big cost in my mind. It's impossible. No one deserves to live under such a condition.
I think there are some questions that needed to be answered first, and after that I would gladly want for the school to be opened and to go back, meet our teachers, and I hope everything will be all right.
To be sure that everything is settled down, and I want to pursue my dream as I used to do. I want to pursue my education.